Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship. I hope you enjoyed that short segment by Raid Call, and I do want to take a moment to thank all the incredible sponsors of Intel Extreme Masters. Of course, we have Intel, and providing our free HD stream, we have BenQ, and Patriot Media, and Raid Call. And guys, let's not forget to thank Twitch TV. Now, I would like to bring out HasuObs. HasuObs was someone that I introduced at a match long ago, the very first time that I was hosting. So this is my formal apology for getting your name wrong once, long ago. But we're here in front of your countrymen. Is there anything you would like to say to your fellow Germans?
Moin moin, schön, dass ihr alle hier seid zum allerersten großen HOTS Offline-Turnier. Und ich hoffe, ihr drückt den deutschen Spielern fleißig die Daumen. Dankeschön.
That's the biggest applause I've heard all day. Do you care to repeat that in English?
Well, I said it's very nice to see you guys here for the very first HOTS offline tournament, and I hope you guys cheering for the German players.
Excellent, I hope they are as well. Now let's bring out your opponent. We have PartinG. I feel appropriately dressed for this match. It is our first PvP. Gentlemen, if you will shake hands. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to hand it back over to the analyst desk. Jurostar, Hairstem, and QXC, take it away.
All right, guys, welcome back for what I believe is our first PvP of the day. QXC looking super excited.
Hopefully our last.
Super excited to cast this PvP. Hairstem, what are we going to see here?
We're going to see 3-gate pressure.
Okay.
From someone.
From someone.
It's going to be the German player. It's going to be Hasu. It's going to go for 3-gate pressure, man.
All right, you're feeling it. And what's PartinG going to try and combat that with, do you reckon?
I think Koreans have been playing 1-gate into tech, so it could be 1-gate Robo, 1-gate Stargate. That's what I've been seeing the most on ladder.
So what's really changed in this matchup with Heart of the Swarm, with the Mothership Core, and I guess
the Oracle.
Oracle, Mothership Core. Phoenixes have one more range. I don't know how significant that is. The Dark Shrine is a little bit cheaper.
Yeah.
And Blink takes longer to research.
Yeah. So basically, it makes Stargate a better option. You open up with an Oracle, which can see DTs. So Stargate is a bit safer, but still not as safe as, for example, Robo openers or some kind of Blink Stalker Robo opening.
Sure.
3-gate pressure has become really popular because, I actually don't know why, but
3-gate with a Mothership Core? Or just 3-gate?
3-gate.
Do you always get a Mothership Core
always.
in PvP?
Yeah, standard. Like, there's no downside, no real downside of getting a Mothership Core. So everyone's going to get a Mothership Core. You're going to go 3 gates. Maybe, yeah, like I said, the Koreans have been doing a lot of 1-gate, Stargate expansion. So yeah.
How does a Mothership Core do against a Stalker? Do you ever fight Stalkers with Mothership Core? Is it really more for the time warp and the scouting?
Yeah, it's more for the time warp.
We were saying earlier, oh, it's an observer with an attack, let's go!
Right.
Doesn't quite apply here, though.
No.
But what I actually think is quite interesting to note is that HasuObs, of course, traditionally prefers his High Templar approach over his Colossi.
Yeah.
Is that something we're going to see translated over Heart of the Swarm here?
Oh, yeah. Like, I just spoke about the early game now. Mid-game and late game changed a little bit. We've been seeing a lot of double Stargate Void Ray play. And I also think we've been seeing quite some Twilight builds because it used to be if you went Twilight, Charge Lot, Archon into like Void Rays, it would be really bad. But now you can do that, Charge Lot Archon into Void Rays, and it actually beats Colossi instead of just still losing against the Colossi. So yeah, Twilight is a bit more of a viable option. Third bases are more of a viable option as well. 2-base Owen's not that common anymore because of the Mothership Core. Yeah, it's a pretty stellar defense, I would say. So I think we're going to see quite a bit of that.
Cool. We'll be hopping into game number 1 in just a moment. It looks like the first map's going to be Antigua Shipyard, and joining us for this amazing game are your 2 commentators. We have Todd and Kalaris.
Thanks very much, guys. Here at PartinG, looking poised and ready to go. Todd, we have our PvP, the first one on this stage, 4th day. How are you feeling about PvP in Heart of the Swarm?
Pretty good. I have my own strategy, which is pretty much going into Stargate, adding 3 gates to be safe against anything. Stargate is good against Robo play. It's good against Stargate play. Obviously, it's a mirror. Against DTs, you're gonna have detection with the Oracle, so it's pretty much good, or at least decent, against everything. And these days, we've seen a lot of Stargate play in PvP. I talked a little bit to PartinG before he had to play Yonghua, and I shared my strategy with him. He chose not to use it a single time. He lost with 1-2. But I played with HasuObs on ladder a bunch of times during the beta, and I used my Stargate build against him. I won, I think, almost every single time. And then he had to play one of those tournaments. He had a PvP, a very important game. He used my build, he won, and then he thanked me. He was like, thanks for your builds, even though I didn't really give it to him. I just played against him and I used it against him. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Stargate play here out of HasuObs with maybe Zealot Stalker, Mothership Core Stalker is very safe against almost anything, because you get the Mothership Core very early on and you're able to defend against anything that can be thrown at you, and that double assimilator in the start of the game will allow you to have enough gas for everything.
Okay, so guys, spawning up to the northern position here as our red Protoss. He goes by the name of Mao's HasuObs.
His opponent starting at the bottom of Antigua Shipyard, playing for team SK1. We have PartinG. And on Antigua Shipyard, in Wings of Liberty, I definitely feel like blink play is the best strategy you can use. But in Heart of the Swarm, there has been 30 seconds added to that blink research upgrade. So it's going to come much later. Any timing that you would usually do with blink, whether it's with or without observers, is just going to be generally weaker. That's why I feel also that even on this map, you can go for the Stargate play. But if you're facing blink, the thing is there is going to be a moment where basically, if you see your opponent going for a blink play and you're on Stargate, you have to make Void Race. And this is okay when Stalkers are in small numbers. But when you start facing 20 Stalkers, even if you have 4 Void Race and a couple of ground units, it's going to be really tough for you to make a difference. So you have to go into Robo and get Immortals, but there is always a timing during which it's possible to attack. So was PartinG to go for that play, HasuObs would have to play really close to perfect to be able to win.
Is there, in terms of when you scout out your opponent and say by chance you see blink play very, very early, is there potential that if you've gone Stargate and you're getting those Void Rays early, is there possibility to start trying to force the engagement, or does that depend on map dependencies? What are the kind of dynamics there?
If you go for Stargate, you will be playing defensively as far as the real fight goes, but obviously your Stargate units, you can try to be offensive with them, especially Phoenix, Oracle. One of the best opener I feel right now is one Oracle into Phoenixes. I played against LGM first recently, just before the beta closed, and that's what he used, and it just felt really strong, because it counters almost anything. Even if your opponent opens with one Phoenix first, if he catches your Oracle, he's going to be able to kill it, but you bank on the fact that he's not going to be able to. You go all the way around the map and you try to land in his mineral line with that Oracle, in which case, even if you use Photon Overcharge, you can kill 4 to 6 probes, which is enough. It's enough to put you ahead, and it's enough for an Oracle to be worth it. But we see PartinG actually going for the Twilight Council here.
Yeah, looking to go into that pretty standard blink play here. PartinG playing to the Wings of Liberty style of Antigua Shipyard. Not really too surprised. It does lend itself very, very nicely in terms of its architecture. And, you know, from here on, HasuObs is also accruing a lot of Stalkers himself. 3 gateways finished up. He's getting that Mothership Core. And still undecided in terms of tech. Might just put on the 3-gate pressure that Harston was talking about.
And that's really weird what HasuObs is doing. I mean, he hasn't thrown on any tech building just yet. You don't usually do that. I mean, you go for 2 gates. If you get the Mothership Core extra, then you will be safe against almost anything. And then you either throw down a Robo, a Twilight Council, or a Stargate. He has done neither of that. It looks like he wants to go for a 3-gates pressure, but I mean, not being able to warp on the high ground against your opponent is just going to make this so much weaker. So we see he's actually proxying a pylon at the bottom side of the map here. He's maybe trying... He's maybe hoping that PartinG will move out too far from his base and then flank him from 2 sides, but PartinG with the really nice Stalker micro, as always here, is not going to lose anything.
And Forge going down behind this for HasuObs as well, whilst a probe sneaks out for PartinG past all of this, maybe to warp in some potentially offensive units from that point on. But HasuObs, he has 6 Stalkers out and about right now to his opponent's 5, along with the Mothership Core, and he's going to have, well, I assume upgrades going in just a bit.
And HasuObs, I feel like he's trying to blind counter a very quick expansion out of his opponent, because if PartinG had gone for a very quick Nexus with just a couple units and then 2 or 3 gates behind this, he could not have been able to see the Nexus against this many Stalkers plus the Mothership Core. So Hasu is going to see that there is no Nexus, he's going to be able to snipe one of the pylons, he's not going to overcommit here. Oh, actually, maybe. Okay, no, he's going for a content. He's going for a lot of Stalkers. He's getting a sentry as well.
Well, I'm not sure what I said about upgrades earlier. Going for that one cannon to maybe force it to the spot need detection if his opponent was going for some kind of DT play, but that is not the case right now. But he should know that there is a Twilight Council out and about with all of this. There's so many Stalkers. There you go. He sees the blink. So he's always got to have that threat there, trying to micro back where he can. And these Stalkers for PartinG looks like they may end up overwhelming here.
And HasuObs was a little bit trying to counter everything here. I mean, he's got a cannon in his main in the meantime, which was very costly. And since he does not have any tech, he's facing Blink right now. I mean, I don't see how that can work out for him. PartinG is going to be able to kill all of those Stalkers of HasuObs. And HasuObs is in a world of trouble right now. He's lost everything. He's going to try to take down the Mothership Core, but this is going to live. And I mean, he has this cannon at home, which would have saved him in case of DTs, but we had no DTs made.
Yeah, is he, I mean, I guess what HasuObs does right now is get his Mothership Core out once again and tries to use Photon Overcharge to continue the defense, but he's going for Robo behind this. He's going to be severely behind, whilst PartinG has a lot of units out in the field. His cost efficiency was so high with that blink that because he's retained all of those units, HasuObs is going to have a hard time defending.
Yeah, and with 9 Blink Stalkers against only 2, it's going to be really tough for HasuObs. I mean, he does not have a Mothership Core with close to 100 energies, just about to get to 70. And I think PartinG is just going to micro really well with Blink here, try to reduce the army side of HasuObs and finish the game.
I like that force field though. Forces either the offensive blink with everything or just the defensive blink of one, but he actually goes for an offensive blink anyway. Blinks forward, killing off one Stalker. Second one goes down, as does the time warp to shut all of that down. There goes the Mothership Core on the way to try and deal with this, but the defensive blink looks too much here for PartinG.
And really nice target fire with those Stalkers on HasuObs, the Stalkers here. PartinG able to take out all of those units so far. There is almost nothing left for HasuObs. A Mothership Core and a Sentry is going to have to call GG.
GG.
Very well done by PartinG.
Yeah, a good defense into a good offense there. PartinG realizing that HasuObs, I was about to say Mana then, had nothing to really deal with that. And then from that point on, pretty clean game there from PartinG. So, yeah, I think that in game number 2, probably we're not going to see as much 3-gate aggression there from HasuObs. I think maybe something different. It seemed that PartinG was very, very
He needs to go for my build, man. Why nobody listens? Just go for Stargates.
Your build.
So good.
Good stuff. Okay, so we are going to send it over to the analysis desk with... so, yeah, it looks like Hasu here into game number 2. I mean... In terms of the Stargate openers that come out in PvP, if both players go for the Stargate opener, which is becoming more and more common in Heart of the Swarm right now, it just kind of nullifies out, I would assume. It just kind of...
No, you don't quit going for Phoenixes usually. You just go for a double Stargate and then go for a lot of Phoenixes.
Yeah.
And then you can transition later on.
Okay, guys, so we are going to send it over to the analysis desk, and we'll be back in just a little bit.
All right, guys. Well, that was a pretty swift game at number 1. And Harstem, you were talking about it before the game actually started, saying there would be some 3-gate pressure and a 1-gate tech. And that happened pretty much exactly as you said it. But Hasu not quite able to make the early 3-game aggression work in his favor.
Yeah, I think Hasu overstayed his welcome, as they say. And I want to show this with a replay. So if you can pop in the replay right now.
Well, we'll take a look at the replay in just a moment there. But
there we go.
So everything was looking pretty okay for Hasu. Hasu just took down this one pylon. And after that, taking down the pylon, I think he should have backed up. He should have known that Blink was really close to being finished. And fighting uphill is always a little bit harder. And then if your opponent also has Blink and you don't, it's going to be close to impossible, especially if the Stalker numbers are this close. I think Stalker numbers were basically even at this point. So... yeah, this was going to be a really hard fight for Hasu, and that's basically what cost him the game, staying a little bit too long. I don't think he transitioned out of it soon enough as well, so yeah, I think that's basically what lost him the game here.
I was a little surprised because when you go for 3-gate pressure, you have to know that if you're on the offensive, your opponent's not doing the same build you're doing. If they were both doing three-gate pressure, they would have met in the middle somewhere, and it would have been more of an even exchange. Except in that game, PartinG was clearly on the defensive, so Hasu should have known there's got to be something behind this. There's some kind of tech. There's some kind of follow-up. And because all he saw were stalkers, it really felt like, I mean, obviously I could see both sides, but it felt like if all you make are stalkers, you're probably going to get Blink.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you were going to Mortals or Stargate or
maybe DTs.
Yeah, maybe DTs,
Maybe.
but
he had a cannon at home, so
he was
fine
he was safe for DTs. But like if you scout your opponents on the defensive and has nothing but stalkers, it seemed like, okay, I should kind of know when Blink is going to finish. And if he had backed out, he would have been in a pretty good spot.
Okay spot. I think he would have still been a bit behind. As I said, he didn't throw down his tech. Some people throw down their tech the moment they don't see a Nexus. I like that a little bit better than what Hasu did in this game, going for the early forge. It's a bit safer against, let's say, DTs or Oracles, but I feel like, in general, it's better to just get a tech building behind it, so you can go into Immortals if you scout Blink.
All right, guys. Well, let's see how HasuObs chooses to change it up in game number 2. The map's going to be Entombed Valley, and we are currently in the countdown into the game. So let's throw it over to your commentators. We have Apollo and Todd.
I'm not Apollo. But thanks, guys, as for now, still chilling out here. I'll be Apollo if you want, that's fine. We're both Brits, you can't tell later. As for that, we do have HasuObs here and PartinG loading up into game number 2. Entombed Valley is our choice. How are you feeling for this map, Todd?
Pretty good. Entombed Valley is one of those different maps in PvP. Just like Antigua Shipyard has its own style, you have a lot of space to maneuver around and use some blink play. On Entombed, it's pretty much going to be the opposite. I mean, you just have this one area near the third where you can blink into your opponent's base, but then you cannot blink out for a long time. So that makes blink play on this map much less likely. And less likely blink play, what does this mean? A lot of robo expand. And what does a lot of robo expand mean? A lot of Stargate play to try to counter it.
Yep, sounds good.
Ultimately, some people will try to blink Stalker all in sometimes, but as I said, it's much weaker in Wings of Liberty, in Heart of the Storm, sorry, than in Wings of Liberty. So Stargate versus Stargate. That's what I think we might see here.
Radio. Bold predictions, but I mean, very, very good here for Heart of the Swarm, as we do have spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner here as our red Protoss. He goes by the name of SK-T1's PartinG.
His opponent in the top left corner playing for Team Mousesports, playing as the blue Protoss. We have HasuObs.
And HasuObs, again, every time I've seen him actually playing Heart of the Swarm on his stream or for a few show matches we did, he's looked really, really good, but not really finding his stride just yet here. As PartinG shuts him down in that game 1, and we're going to have to see how this is going to unfold.
HasuObs is just going to go for one assimilator so far. It's a bit strange. I would expect them both to take both of their assimilators very early on this map, but I mean, you can do this and then take the other one a little bit later, and that's actually what HasuObs is doing here. Now, will PartinG do it as well? It does not look so far. He throws down his second pylon instead, and PartinG used to go for a lot of big gate pressures on this map in Wings of Liberty. Like I said before, it's much weaker in Heart of the Swarm because you cannot warp on the high ground. But, I mean, he's up one game. He might try something here.
Yeah, he could do. He could do. I mean, again, I'm hoping we see some Stargate play. I'm hoping we see maybe an Oracle or two pop out on here. But HasuObs is gaining actually a lot of gas there with already both populated with 3. I was expecting maybe just 2 in each, but there you go. Second gas now going down for PartinG as well as he heads out into the middle of the map. And I believe that this is indeed cross positions enforced, so, but PartinG might not know that.
And a pretty greedy chrono boost on his Nexus. HasuObs, TT1 would definitely approve of that. It puts you a little bit more at risk. As I said, gate pressures will definitely have a harder time against safe builds. So if HasuObs gets, say, a Stalker first, the Sentry second, and his Mothership Core very early on, he should be safe against pretty much anything that can be thrown at him. And since he's taken the 2 gas very early on, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some gas-heavy tech instead of a gate pressure here. And yeah, it does throw down the Twilight Council. Maybe it is.
Yeah, I mean, considering the positioning that it's in, this is always kind of the potential for DTs. Of course, he could be hiding it in the back just to make sure that he can get blink and keep it out of position of his opponent, keeping it out of his vision. But HasuObs now poking along the map. Stalker getting greeted by 2 Zealots. He doesn't want to be fighting that for now, and will fall back.
And PartinG is chrono boosting out a whole bunch of Stalkers here. I'm actually a little bit surprised to see how they don't spend a single chrono boost on their warp gate here. They're really thinking that they're going to be safe no matter what. And oh, we have a proxy pylon out of PartinG, so this is the 2-gate pressure, I guess. Even though he hasn't chrono boosted warp gate, he's chrono boosted out a lot of units. So those are going to hit first, see if there is any kind of sentry, what defense HasuObs has. And behind this, maybe a no.
Well, the Dark Shrine's going down behind this for HasuObs. He needs to buy time here whilst he gets that out. The Stalker's going to micro on back, but if he pulls those units too far back, it's going to be able to see the Dark Shrine as well. Will he be able to see it? No, not just yet. The Zealots here being engaged by the probes. Now he sees it. And that's a big, big blow there for HasuObs.
And he had to mineral walk his probes to his expansion here if he wanted to make sure to catch those Stalkers. PartinG right now trying to do as much damage as he can. We have a couple more gates being added on by HasuObs here, but Wargate just finished. He needs to morph his gates. He's going to do so immediately as well as PartinG does. PartinG saw the Dark Shrine. He threw down the robotics facility, and I think he's in a great position right now. He's up to 24 probes to the 18 of HasuObs.
Yeah, he really is. 5 Stalkers being very, very pesky indeed. Going to poke forwards once again. HasuObs doesn't really have the best position for his Stalkers to engage. A lot of free volleys off there, and another Stalker comes along for PartinG, forcing him to pull all the probes, focusing down the Stalkers, realizing as long as he can kill those, a nice micro, saving that Stalker as well. And then once they're dead, all the probes will be vulnerable. But even still, Dark Shrine's done. Could warp in a DT to clean this up, or push it back at least.
And he's going to do so, but he's already lost so many probes. So much for my vicious target prediction. PartinG really trying to take the really quick win in this second game.
And still microing around with the Stalkers, realizing he's not going to be able to escape too easily from the DTs. But there you go, GG for game number 2. SKT once PartinG decides Protoss versus Protoss. Nah, 5-minute games, it's fine.
And I'm a bit disappointed by the style that Hasu chose to use. I mean, DTs it could have been okay, but you need to go for a safe field build on this map if you want to do it. Getting a couple more, chrono boosting a couple more units, having a better SimCity, anything can help. If he had his mothership core ready to time warp the ramp, it also really helps because your opponent cannot really run into you as much, or even a photon overcharge. He also, even though he was going DTs now, he didn't have a proxy pylon out on the map, so it would have been difficult to really do damage with it.
Yeah, would have been very, very difficult indeed. Okay, guys, so we are going to send it over to the analysis desk here with Jorasar, QXE, and Harstem.
All right, guys. Well, that was a pretty quick game number 1 we saw there. Of course, going for those quick DTs did HasuObs, but unfortunately it fell to a really cool build out of there from PartinG, going for that preliminarily 2-gate pressure. Harstem, you were talking a bit about the build just now. What did you think of it, and what can we see inside this game?
Okay, what I thought of the build, or let me explain the build. So basically the thing that PartinG did was he started with a small amount of gas. He had 2 guys in gas for the first 3-4 minutes in the game. Then he took a second gas and mined with 2-2 in both gases, so 2 probes in each gas. This allowed him to get 2 Zealots, 2 gates, 2 gates just before the Cyber, so he could rally 2 Zealots and then keep on rallying Stalkers after it. 4 Stalkers in total, and he hit a push, or he hit a little timing with 2 Zealots and 2 Stalkers, and yeah, that basically killed HasuObs. It's quite an old build actually. It has been used in the past 6 to 9 months, let's say. I think one of the German Protoss players, Zocca, is pretty well known for using builds like this with multiple Zealots, then putting a pylon near the ramp just to threaten, and then just walk in, kill a few probes. PartinG followed it up with 2-gate pressure, then wanted to add a robo and expand after it, I guess, but he did so much damage that it actually didn't even matter. And
yep. Do you think was HasuObs playing like excessively greedy this game, or just because of the 1-gate Twilight and then the second gateway was really late?
1 gate Twilight, second gate, then into DTs. That's or I think the second gate was before the Dark Shrine.
Yeah.
It was pretty greedy. I don't think he actually had a mothership core, no sentry at least.
Right.
He skipped a lot of gas units, the safety gas units like sentries, mothership core a bit late. or not even. I didn't actually. I don't think there was a mothership core.
No,
Yep.
there was no
Yeah, there
mothership
was a
core for
mothership.
sure.
So, yeah, that's basically what cost him the game. However, if he would have been able to just hold off a bit longer, get a probe on the map, I think HasuObs would have been in a fine position. But sadly, that's not what happened.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think that's pretty much it in that game. Like it was over so quickly. There's not too much else you can read into it. But I really like the breakdown of the build there. And if you guys are thinking of doing something similar to what PartinG did, of course, at home, you can definitely go ahead and try that out. For now, though, guys, I believe we're going to be heading into a commercial break. And after we pop back from that, we're going to be seeing some more best of 3 action here in CeBIT.